So a number of years ago, I started collecting timepieces. I'm a watch buff. And in order to keep the watches always wound, you have to invest in a good watch winder. So about 3 years ago, I bought a watch winder that has room for about 16 different watches, and it rotates one way and then turns around and rotates the other way. But these small electric motors, over a period of time, they break. They basically stop working, or they just don't have the power to spin the watch anymore. So I called the watch company, and they were gracious enough to send me replacement motors at no cost. So last night I decided to get a little into it and open the back of the big watch winder. And when I opened the back of the watch winder, in essence, it was just a bunch of spaghetti. Think about 16 electric motors with all the wires going to these printed circuit boards. And the printed circuit boards are very small, very dainty, and then having to take all that apart and put in these new motors. So ultimately, I open the back, I take out one of the motors, which includes unplugging it. There's 2 screws holding it into basically another circular piece where the watch goes in, and then having to pull that cup all the way out in the front. So I take out the motor, take it out of the plastic piece. And when I go to put the new motor on, I realize that it's a different size. The screw holes that held the old motor into the back are different than the screw holes on the new motor. The mounting plate's a little bit different. It fits perfectly on the back, doesn't move around, but I'm not able to put the screws back in because there's no holes where it needs to be. So at this point, I really had 3 options. I could put it all back together and do nothing and be very complacent with where it is and ultimately not have working motors. I can yell and scream and complain and expect somebody else to fix it for me, which is really the attitude of entitlement, or I can go ahead and get my drill and fix it and make the thing work again and basically get the work done. Those are my 3 options. Ultimately, I chose to drill the holes, put it back together, and it all works flawlessly. But it's an interesting concept because if you think about where you are today, where I am today, there's areas in life that we go from entitlement to complacency or sedation to doing the work. And when you look at the 4 areas of your life, when you look at things like body, your fitness, what you eat, and so forth, where are you? Are you doing the work? Am I doing the work? Or are you complacent? When you look at your faith, are you doing the work? Or are you just kind of sitting by and feeling entitled that God's going to do it for you? The same goes for your relationships. If your marriage is broken, are you putting in the work? Or are you sitting idly by and either expecting somebody else to fix it or just giving up and not fixing it yourself? And whether you own your own business or whether you have a career, are you doing the work to get to the next step? Or are you expecting somebody to give you more money and bigger titles because you quote unquote deserve it? Take a look at really where you are in each of those 4 areas. Look at body, being, balance, and business, and make the determination to do the work today.